Hey YouTube, welcome back to another video on Clash Royale. Today I just finished another classic challenge with this amazing Phenoix deck. And I just want to say a huge shout out to my boy Mags for coming up with this deck. He made this deck himself and it does pretty good in classic challenges. So with that being said, let's just open these rewards and see how they are, and I will show you a few games with this deck. So here's like what you should expect with a classic challenge deck. Classic challenge tester, like not really too good, but let's look at some replays and see how good the deck is. So I'm going to start off with the farthest, the ninth win first, and we'll move our way up. And I won't be including losses in this, since like I'm pretty sure you guys don't really need to know how to lose. So here's the deck in action. It's pretty powerful since it has the Phenoix and the Monk, and those cards are pretty busted at the moment. I think the Monk is fairly safe. But anyways, we do start off the game by cycling with Heal Spirit. And then once I see his Tombstone, I just kind of put my Phenoix down to hopefully, put my Mother Witch down to hopefully get as much piggies as possible. And I try to defend my Mother Witch with Monk and Phenoix. And the good thing about the Monk is the Monk can reflect the reflection. So as you can see, even though his Monk's ability is up, since my Monk's ability is also up, my Mother Witch does not take any damage from his Monk. And that was a lot of words, but there we go. We had a pretty okay defense. He does have his Phenoix survive, and basically his pump was baited, and you may have saw that emote I just did. I was pretty excited since I had a nice opportunity for a pump. You see, I do log this since I don't want that Phenoix to hatch under any circumstance. And what I'm going to do is, like, since it's just an elixir, let's try to kind of cycle to our next pump. But I do try to take as much advantage as possible from his Tombstone placement. I do get his Phenoix down, and I mean the egg also goes down from my Phenoix. And I am basically at a new pump, so what I do is... Oh, sorry, I thought I pumped. Nope. I do a premature rush, which, looking back at it, wasn't a very good idea. Let's see if that Phenoix egg hatch. I believe it does. Which gives us an amazing opportunity, and... since he is pretty low right now, I decide, hey, let's put out a pump. Need some pumps down. Also bait out in his poison, so I could potentially get some Three Musketeers when double elixir hits. I do some emotes kind of show him that, like, oh no, my pump's down, even though it's more of a bait, kind of trying to trick him to think I don't want him to poison my pump, even though that is what I want. My elite barbarian probably gets a hit if I remember correctly. Yes, it does. And I'm going to try to get a pump down before I do any actual Three Musketeer shenanigans. So there we go. Three Musketeers works best with pump. So there's our pump. He's going to poison it, but that's fine. So what I will do is put Three Musketeers down. Two on the right, one on the left. But you may be thinking, hey, isn't that Monk going to just reflect those Musketeers? Which, I mean, as long as I have a Monk, no, he's not. Turns out he does not even use his ability, so like... Oh, he does use his ability. I do not remember this game very well. But my Musketeers are protected with my Monk. And I am getting a dual lane push going on pretty good now. And he does use a poison, which kind of kills my right side. So, that's okay. Mother Witch does me a favor and gives me some piggies. But his Phenoix does respect. Not the end of the world, by any means. But this guy is kind of in a position to get a sort of graveyard push going on, so I do have to be pretty careful. I kind of realized I screwed up by putting two Musketeers on the right on this side, since I couldn't do anything. I do realize I can't log these skeletons unless if I really want to get a log into my own tower, which I do not really want. And my right side is doing pretty good after defending his graveyard push. It is poison. Poison is so annoying since you can't reflect it. But it is not the end of the world. I do reflect his Barbarian Barrel. And as of right now, we are still fairly even. But this push just kind of give me a little bit of a lead. So that is pretty good on my part. And basically, what I have to do now is just defend. And if I can do that, I basically win the game. If I can defend. Two Musketeers, two on the right, one on the left. I just want nice defense to get rid of Phenoix. He will probably poison it, which is fine, because I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I can just put down another pump, and that pump's going to last me for the rest of the game. I do realize he's pushing up for a graveyard push, so I try to stop his Monk from my tower from connecting to his Monk, and then I get some nice piggy potential, and this is basically the end of the game. This deck is very good against that Graveyard Monk Phoenix deck, since Mother Witch basically hard counters it, along with just so much value with Three Musketeers and the Monk himself and the Phoenix. It's just a really good deck in Classic Challenges. I did try using this deck in a Grand Challenge. It didn't really work too well, but I would highly recommend this deck for Classic Challenges. As you can see, basically this guy kept feeding my Mother Witches, and eventually I just got enough elixir or enough piggies to just take down his tower. So this deck I would highly recommend if you don't have a Classic Challenge win yet. So like, try it out. If you do, this guy wasn't very happy since I have a hard counter to his deck. And there we go. First win. I did kind of BM since I really don't like Graveyard. I know BMing is bad, guys, but like, come on, guys. He started it first. All right, the next game I'll show you is this game against sort of a log-based deck without a Goblin Barrel. It's kind of a weird combination, if you ask me. So, here we go to start the game. What I do is I see the pump's next card in cycle, so I try to cycle to it. However, I do need to defend, so I do get the Mother Witch to take out that Skeleton Barrel. I will take the left side, or the right side, since my Heal Spear did a pretty good chunk of damage on those goblins, and I do have a pump down, and as far as I'm aware, he does not have any pump counters. But in case he does have rocket, I do place my monk kind of weird, and do reflect that goblin barrels, or dark goblin damage. This guy does try to do a nice dummy push on my right side, however, Log just completely takes it out, giving me a +2 lead, and that's amazing. I do decide to rush him, which, I mean, it is a pretty good idea since this guy's deck isn't looking very solid. I do have an Elite Barbarian Connect getting over 4 hits, maybe 5, no, just 4 hits on his tower, which was fantastic. And I just need to defend this push really quick since I did. We'll spend a lot of elixir. It didn't go as well as I wanted it to, but whatever. I got another pumping cycle. And, I mean, I kind of sweating here, but I had enough time to put down a log and counter those wall breakers. There we go. But at this point, I kind of realized this guy doesn't really have a pump counter, so I might as well abuse pumps, am I right? So let's just do that. I need to defend, obviously. Don't want to lose a tower, especially if I don't have a tower down. I can't afford to lose one myself. Might as well get as much chip damage as possible. I get around 150 chip damage just for 1 elixir. It's not the best value, but like, it's better than nothing. So if your monk's really low on health, I would say, I guess it's worth it. It's technically an earthquake in terms of damage for 1 elixir, so maybe like use your ability if the monk's like very low on health. But double elixir hits. I think I'm about to get some Three Musketeers down. Yep, Three Musketeers. I put 2 on the left, 1 on the right, just in case he has rocket, because I'm not 100% sure if he did have a heavy spell yet. But once he puts the Rascals down, I believe that's his last card, so I don't really care. He doesn't have rock anymore. I don't have to fear about any splash. And I do get an amazing Monk Reflection. I do take out his Dark Goblin with his very own log. And basically, once I see that, this guy is down so much elixir, I basically win the game. There's not really much he can do since I have 4 Musketeers on this tower. And that's basically how the game ends. Deck is, as I said, very powerful in Classic Challenges. And if you're struggling against that Graveyard deck, this Mother Witch in this deck does a great job. And this also does pretty good against Lava Hound decks, since you don't have to worry about your Musketeers, if your Musketeers get fireballed, since you have 2 other anti-air in the deck. Alright, and this is the last battle I'm going to show you guys. This is against Pekka Bridge Spam. This game was very close, but it would have been okay if I lost. I won the Grand Challenge or the Classic Challenge with a 12-to-1 win ratio. And what I do is I'm trying to cycle pump, and this guy does fireball my witch. It's not the end of the world, though. So be it. And when I see it's fireball, basically what I want to do is cycle to my pump as fast as possible, since like he has no other heavy spell. So that's what I do. I kind of do regret it since he decides he's running Pekka Bridge Spam, so he decides to rush my right side, so I am going to take a little bit of damage. I don't have a proper counter, so I have to use a Phoenix. And my monk does get destroyed, and this guy just really going for the chip damage, man. This guy did pretty good. But, I mean, in the end, I do win this game, but we will see how that pans out. Alright, so I put down a heal spirit down to hopefully have my Phoenix egg hatch. But sadly it doesn't due to that ghost. And I don't want that Pekka hit, so I just log it last second. I'm going to have to take that bandit damage in order to keep my red tower. But that will be well worth it by the end, because that's we just win barely by a tower. And I decide, hey, it's time to rush. I can use my monk as a shield, which I was incorrect. I was hoping he was going to place his Pekka on my things and have my monk guard. However, that's not how it pans out. This wasn't the best push in the world. So I decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to try to pump up a little bit. And I quickly regret that, since he is rushing at me with a battering ram, but it's not the end of the world. This does a pretty good job at disarming it. Again with the magic archer, this guy has amazing geometry. He gets a ton of damage on my tower. It is outrageous. This guy was a pretty good player. I was pretty nervous. So it's all fun and all, but I try to get my Phoenix egg to hedge, but that didn't work too well. So, I think it's time for Three Musketeers, so that's what I do. I want to have a monk down beforehand so I don't get my Musketeers fireballed without any protection. I try to protect a fireball, but, I mean, it doesn't work out too well. See, guys, that's the problem about monk. You can't react to fireball. You have to place the ability before the fireball is actually casted, or else you're going to take a lot of damage. This guy kind of works with me. He kind of makes a giant push. And, I mean, honestly, I think that was worth it, since he turned my stool lane push into a mega push, which gets a little bit of damage. In fact, I'm pretty sure it gets a lot of damage. Gives me a lot of opportunities. I am up a lot of elixir with that one pump, so I decide, hey, I need to win this game quick, so I rush him. And I also need to get rid of the magic archer, so nice log. And the Phoenix egg hatch giving me a ton of value, and basically this giant push is all I needed to win. And that turns the tide of the game just there with that one push. This guy can't really do anything back. I just kind of beat him with a defensive pump, and that is the game. Anyways, now this is a pretty good deck for classic challenges. As I said, if you guys want to see it one more time, here it is. I believe that is my 14th classic challenge. And if you guys are new here, hey, consider subscribing. And if you like this video, give it a like. And I'll see you guys all in the next video of Clash Royale. Bye-bye.